the pillars of your Fort Knox with the J-Force. Wrecking weekends like Charlie Shabazz and Randall Moore. Serve like ministers, spearheading the unknown.
Yeah.
My crew up, bang, bang, hollering Pujo.
Sending out an SOS, cause these issues are fatal. Dealing with them till we're with ox and hip-hop angels. We MCs are expatriates with the rhyme. Micronauts influencing masses, line for line.
The South of Noise Project will have your soul arising. Through these elements of progression, we stay grinding. Our mojo is heavy like the science of life. Fortune psyche with origami when we spit on the mic.
Watching the rising sun, sitting on Mars Hill. In the den of lions and thundercats, but still chill.
Catapult is Atticus sound, planting unknown seeds. Out the box like Bink is Grease Kids and First Team.
Cunning linguists who see through conspiracies. From ballers rocking Cashmere to chapter 13.
So push your transistor fist up and raise your voice.
ATL surrounded by greatness, make some noise!
You see, the only thing that matters is this place and time. And I'm surrounded by greatness every time that I shine. It's like, ha, 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 come on.
Beatnik linguistics,
Four kings and
drop bombs,
hip-hop for the people, ain't no need for alarm. It's like, ha, 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 yeah, come on.
Yeah, what's cracking, y'all? Cypher linguistics right here, a.k.a. CL, a.k.a. your mama's favorite rapper. Yo, big up to all the cats that didn't make the very last verse. You know what I'm saying? My man Mudfish and Rare Form DJs, Melafear, Nestle, Agent Smith, a.k.a. Cypher Kana, Rough Turbulence, KP, Dreaded Minds and Tommy Valentine representing out in Athens. Four Eyes, collective efforts, Illa, genuine fresh style.
What time is that? I still got 10 seconds to get to the dance floor.
Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show, Man Talk Monday. The number to the show is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. So, as reported earlier in the weekend, man, Nike, Under Armour, Adidas have all basically given LeVar Ball the stiff arm. Yeah, Lonzo Ball, the most well-known prospect in the 2017 NBA draft, is not considered an endorsement prospect by the only three shoe companies that really matter in basketball: Nike, Under Armour, and Adidas. A report from ESPN says that the three apparel companies will not do business with the Ball family. It appears LeVar Ball, Lonzo's father, is the reason. LeVar Ball has been pushing his Big Baller brand for months, hoping to create a billion-dollar enterprise. In his meetings with the three, LeVar insisted that the company licenses upstart Big Baller brand from him. He also showed the companies a shoe prototype that he hoped would be Lonzo's first shoe. Here's a quote. "We said from the beginning we aren't looking for an endorsement deal," LeVar told ESPN. "We're looking for co-branding a true partner, but they're not ready for that because they're not used to the model. But, hey, the taxi industry wasn't ready for Uber either. Just imagine how rich Tiger Woods, Kobe Bryant, Serena Williams, Michael Jordan, and LeBron James would have been if they dared to do their own thing," LeVar said. "No one owned their own brand before they turned pro. We do, and I have 3 sons, so it's much more valuable." So he's trying to convince companies worth billions to take a risk is basically what's going on right now. Per ESPN report, Ball will attempt to negotiate with brands outside of China or out of China, such as Peak, Li-Ning, and Anta. You remember Stephon Marbury got his shoes made for one of those companies over there in China as well, so evidently basketball sneakers are pretty big over in China as well. There are almost 2 months before the NBA draft and then the offseason before Lonzo gets on the court. until his son is able to prove that he can have undeniable star quality with the best in the world, LeVar Ball is going to have to make a choice, the story is saying, but to wait out the market, even he can't say if that's going to change. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Is LeVar Ball, usually these things are done before the draft. LeBron James got like a $90 million deal through Nike before he played basketball the first in the NBA. So I don't know if LeVar Ball or Lonzo Ball is going to be, this great NBA player, but chances are he's going to be drafted no later than number 2 in this draft. He may even go number 1, depends on what happens over the next couple of weeks. They got this little combine thing that the NBA is putting on right now, so we'll see. As far as LeVar Ball, man, and losing millions and millions of dollars for his son, it appears that way right now, and it appears that dude has really screwed his son up out of a lot of money. But I'll say this, man, this is negotiation. Okay, it's not over just because he hadn't signed a deal yet, or because Nike or Under Armour or any of these shoe companies here in America are saying we don't want to do business with you. That doesn't mean it's over. That just means that's a negotiation ploy. That just means at this point in negotiation, they aren't going to do anything. So maybe he gets a deal from one of these countries in China or whatever. He gets an offer, and then he's like, listen, we're about to sign with this Chinese company. Here's the offer that they made. Maybe he pushes a piece of paper forward in a meeting and says, this is what we're about to get paid. You still have the opportunity to match it or do better, to our terms. They can say yes or no. Just because at this point right now it looks bad. And listen, I'm not denying right now it looks like that he has pissed away millions of dollars for his sons. It looks like that right now. But you got to remember, Nike and Reebok and Under Armour and all of those companies, man, they feel like that they have all of the leverage. And technically, they kind of do. But at the end of the day, they kind of don't as well, because if they want to work with a player that may end up being a legendary player and the skill set is there, they're going to have to cave in. If it's pride getting in the way of doing a deal with Michael Jordan and LeBron James and Kobe Bryant, before those guys really got big, they would have ultimately figured out a way to do a deal, to make a deal happen. And if they feel like that LeVar Ball is going to be that type of player, they'll put away their personal differences with LeVar Ball and his tactics to make money. Right, they will. They'll find a way to look past all of LeVar Ball and his, arrogance and attitude and swag and whatever they don't like or whatever it is to make money. Yeah, they're not going to let their personal feelings towards this guy get in the way of making money. And they're trying to play hardball right now. And once again, this may totally blow up in their face. This may be like one of the worst, ways to go about trying to secure a deal for his son. He may have screwed his son up for life. But what I'm saying to y'all is it's early in the process. If you read these reports, you read the media, he screwed his son out of this money and this, that, and the other. This is very early. The man hadn't even been drafted yet. Who knows what's going to happen months before the draft? Who knows what's going to happen days before the draft? Who knows what's going to happen next year? Who knows what's going to happen in 2 years? Listen, I kind of admire this guy trying to do his own thing, because it reminds me of what I'm trying to do here with WSME. And when you're ahead of your time, and when you talk about doing a deal like he's talking about doing, basically what he's talking about doing is what Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods did after the fact. He's just trying to stay ahead of this thing. When Tiger Woods has his own brand, the little TW little emblem logo or whatever, that was after the fact. Okay? Same thing with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan has his own Jordan brand, that he gets paid for solely, and Nike just produces it or whatever. So depending on how you set the deal up, this thing could change very fast. Right now, it looks bleak as hell. I'm not denying that. Right now, it looks bleak as hell. It does. But I actually like somebody doing their own thing. I like somebody not being in the constraints of this major conglomerate, multi-billion-dollar company or whatever, and you got to jump through hoops. And when they say jump, you ask how high. I like the entrepreneurial spirit. I do. Now, once again, I got to keep putting this out there as a disclaimer. This may have backfired in his face, not just now or forever. Maybe you can look at it from you get the money first, you do a deal first, and maybe in the contract you talk about your own brand as a secondary option. He wants to be first-dairy, if that's a word. He wants to be first. He wants to pay Nike. He wants Nike to take, or these companies to take, second fiddle to him and his boys. So I can't be mad at him. It may have blown up in their face, maybe forever. But hey, man, if you don't believe in yourself, who gonna believe in you? That's the way I look at it. That's the way I look at it, man. I always try to support black business. I want y'all to support my business. And this man is going out on faith. Now, it looks crazy as hell. Once again, I'm acknowledging that. It looks crazy in hell. But I can't be mad at somebody that's trying to take their own destiny in their own hands. I can't be. So we'll see what happens. There's a lot of time for this thing to play itself out. Hell, we don't know. He may get, a bigger deal than he would have ever gotten from any of these companies here in America from one of those companies in China. What? My point to y'all is don't say that this is over. Don't just buy into what you reading online or in the newspapers or whatever. If this kid goes number one, and I've compared him, kind of got like a Showtime personality, the way he plays on the court, the Lonzo Ball kid, and then he's got a couple other brothers, maybe they don't pan out, I don't know. But if this kid turns out to be a great player or even one of the greatest players to ever play the game, and that's a long way away. Once again, I'm tempering all my words. That's a long way away. But if this kid does pan out to be one of the greatest players ever, Nike, Under Armour, Adidas, they'll swallow their pride fast. They'll swallow their pride real fast. Trust me. That's the way business works. It ain't personal, it's business. And if this kid pan out to be that type of player, a franchise type, historical type player, and if he lands in L.A., his home state, his home city of L.A., even though he's not exactly from L.A., if he lands in L.A., Showtime with the Lakers, and he becomes the face of the Lakers going forward for the next 10 years, yeah, they'll have a change of mind. Right now, they're in a position of power. They're in a leverage position. They have the leverage right now, but that's right now. This is negotiations. Ball award to LeVar Ball. It ain't over yet. That's my whole point. It's not over yet. It's definitely not over yet. The way they tell it on social media and in the news, these media entities, is LeVar Ball's an idiot and he's lost all of this money. What? It's 2 months before the draft. Relax. It ain't over. There's a lot to be told about this story. Quickly, before I jump back in the chat and before we wrap up today's show, New Orleans Saints superfan Jarius Robertson underwent surgery Sunday to receive a long-awaited liver transplant. His father, Jordy, said, congratulations. And you've seen this kid. He actually participated in Media Day for the All-Star game in the NBA this past year. A little kid from New Orleans. Looked like a little Gary Coleman kind of looking kid. Big fan of the New Orleans Saints. Had real health issues. Needed a liver transplant. And so he got a new liver this weekend. Jordy Robinson said the surgery, that's his dad, which he earlier estimated would take 8 to 10 hours, went great. But for the next few days that following the surgery were very important for Jarius, the kid, Robertson, for his 15-year-old son. Robertson battles biliary artesia, a chronic liver disease that affects his physical growth. He has been in and out of hospitals since receiving a liver transplant when he was 1. At one point, he was in a coma for an entire year. I didn't even know that part of the story. And I paused for a second, man, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I paused for a second